Hey church, Pastor Ben. We are in chapter 4 of the Bait of Satan. This deals in the book of 1 Samuel with David and King Saul. David had been picked to go and serve King Saul, to lead music. He began to learn and be mentored by King Saul. And David, though, had also been anointed to be the next king. God had rejected Saul. Saul was being under the torment of demonic spirits, and David would play the harp, and Saul would find relief. And man, what an opportunity. Hey, I'm going to learn everything I need to learn, and I'm going to get all these great lessons, and this is going to be this great thing. And it turned out he was right, just not the way that he thought. He learned a lot of lessons. I read in a book called The Tale of Three Kings that deals with this story that God used King Saul to remove the evil of Saul out of David. The same issues in Saul, God removed from David at the hand of Saul, because God wanted to purge David of the inward Saul, the inward heart that didn't long and love God. And so David is favored above all the other servants. Saul becomes a spiritual father to him and a mentor. He marries the king's daughter, like all this awesome stuff. And man, how awesome, how great is this? Until one day, after battle, the people sing, Saul has slain his thousands and David his tens of thousands. Saul becomes jealous, critical, and paranoid, and he turns on David. And it says Saul hated David because he knew that God was with David and not with him. Beware of jealousy and your critical heart towards people in your life. And so Saul chases David all over Israel. David ends up having to live with the enemies of God for a while, the Philistines. Well, Saul hunts him down. And notice this, though. John Bevere goes on to say that it was God, not the devil, that placed David under the care of Saul. So why would God not allow, why would God not only allow this plan, allow this, but also plan this all out? Well, why was favor dangled in front of David's eyes to have it taken away? That's a prime opportunity for David to be offended, not only with Saul, but also with God. You ever been offended with God because things didn't work out the way that you thought? I have. I've had to work through that. I've had to let go of things that I was angry at God about. All these unanswered questions increase the temptation to question God's wisdom and plan and to get mad. And Saul chases him down. And he sends out all these warriors after David. And they find him. And David's hiding in the cave. Well, Saul goes in to use the bathroom. And David takes his sword and cuts off the edge of Saul's robe. And Saul doesn't know it. Afterwards, he comes out of the cave and shouts at Saul. And he says this, you're reading in the book, David bowed down to the ground and cried after him, my father, see the corner of your robe in my hand. Know and see that there is neither evil nor rebellion in my hand. And I have not sinned against you, yet you hunt my life to take it. See, David's cry to Saul was, my father, right? Basically, he's like, listen, Saul, you're king, your majesty, you're a father and a mentor to me. I want you to be my leader. I'm willing to serve you and help me. Please don't destroy me. Even while Saul was trying to kill David, David's heart burned with hope that Saul could be a mentor and a father. And that's a challenge with any pastor and any leader. And when we're mentoring people and we're to speak into people's lives and whatever, sometimes we don't always get it right. And we're not always the great spiritual fathers and mentors that you want us to be. And I apologize to anybody that I've done that to. However, at the same time, there are things that God is trying to teach you through those seasons. Because every man of God is still a human being. We do our best and we get it wrong sometimes. But you have to keep your heart free from bitterness and free from offense. And so Saul acknowledges that he was doing David dirty. And so later on, they're hunting David again, and they come across Saul and his camp. And it says that God put the entire camp to sleep. And Abishai pleads with David, one of his mighty men, says, God has delivered the enemy into your hand this day. Now, let me go and strike them down with the spirit of the earth, and I will not have to strike them a second time, right? There's a lot of good reasons to go, hey, look, he's been after you. He murdered 85 innocent priests. He's after you. He's trying to kill you. You're next, right? So first, you've got a good reason to do this. Saul's dangerous. Second, he was out with an army to kill David. This is self-defense. Third, though Samuel had anointed David to be the next king, David can't claim his inheritance as king until Saul is out of the way. And he can't claim it if he's a dead man too. And then lastly, God put them into a deep sleep. And he was, had all the right to walk up and kill Saul. So why would God do this? Well, because God's testing David. All these reasons sound good and they make sense, but David was receiving the encouragement from another brother, right? Even though it sounded right, it was still wrong. So if David was still offended and had bitterness in his heart in the least, he would have totally been justified and could have justified it to go and kill Saul. But David says, don't destroy him, for who can stretch out his hand against the Lord's anointed to be guiltless? As the Lord lives, the Lord will strike him, and in his day shall come, and he will die. He will go out to battle and perish. But the Lord forbid that I should stretch out my hand against the Lord's anointed. Right? Because we don't kill people any day these days really with swords and spears and guns and whatever. We destroy people with our tongues. Death and life are in the power of our tongue. We have church splits, we have divorces, we have family issues, we have marriages fall apart, right? Love dies, crushed, because words are launched out of our mouths intended to hurt and destroy people. Because we're hurt and we're frustrated. And we offend friends and family and leaders, and we take aim with our words to destroy people. And even though our words might be factual and accurate, most of the time, our heart is not right before God. So John goes on to talk about a story when he was being personally attacked by another pastor to the point that it looked like his senior pastor was going to fire him. He was trying to find a way to resolve this thing, and this man was just out to get John. John hadn't done anything to him other than call for holiness, call for righteousness and purity when he was a youth pastor. Well, this associate pastor's son didn't like that because he was full of compromise and sin, and this other pastor didn't like it, so he made it his ambition to try to destroy John's reputation, destroy his relationship with the lead pastor, and to get him fired. And he was angry, and he had to work through the bitterness. And he asked for forgiveness from this man, and the man admitted that, I've been kind of critical of you too, and I shouldn't have been. And they kind of made peace, even though this guy was still at war with some other leaders in the church. And while John was out ministering out of the country, a few months later, this guy was fired because all the nonsense that he had been involved with and he was doing, and all the lies and accusations, the way he was trying to destroy everybody else, came back and took him out. And later on, when John saw him, he had compassion on him, hugged him, said he loved him, was praying for him. See, when Saul died, David didn't rejoice, he mourned. He actually wrote a song of lament for the king. And when a young man came to David claiming to have been the one that struck down Saul, thinking it was going to win and points at David, David had him executed for touching the Lord's anointed. So, my friends, it's easy to be loyal to a leader or to a person who loves you, right? But what about the people who are out to destroy you, the people that have hurt you? Can you be a woman or a man of God after God's own heart? Or are you going to seek to try to avenge yourself? I've had to leave vengeance to God. I've had other leaders. I've been in ministry a long time. I've had other leaders come out after me. My lead pastor apologized to me one time because somebody lied about me. He believed it. And other than being able to do youth group, I was not allowed to really do anything else in the church. I was to sit and be quiet and whatever. When the truth came out about why this other person had lied about me and attacked me, he apologized. Yeah, you know what, son, I got it wrong. I was wrong, and I owe you an apology. Forgive me. Because I believed somebody's lies about you instead of really getting to the bottom of the truth. And you know what? I loved him, and I forgave my pastor. I've been mistreated by leaders too. I've been hurt. We all have. And if I've ever hurt you, or I've ever said anything critical or mean or did anything, know that it was very likely unintentional. Maybe I didn't have all the facts or whatever. And would you forgive me? If I've ever done that to you, I'd love for you to contact me. Pastor, you said or did this and it hurt me. I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? Let's reconcile. Let's try to work this through. Because the last thing I want is for bitterness to grow in your heart. I don't want bitterness in my heart. And I don't want there to be unresolved issues between me and other people. And I hope that you have the same heart, that you want to see things resolved between you and other people. My friends, that's chapter 4 of the Bait of Satan. Let's learn to forgive and to pray for people that have hurt us, to pray for leaders. We talked about that on Sunday. What a great way to move into this coming week on chapter 4 of the Bait of Satan. My friends, I love you. You have a great, victorious week.